Mandate the Speaker of the Will County Board to determine that all meetings of the Will County Board will be held in person effective March 8, 2022. The public will still be able to view the meeting via WebEx link that will be posted at www.willcountyboard.com/meeting. The public is invited to comment or pose a question by email at publiccomment@willcountyillinois.com. At the public comment portion of the meeting, emails will be read into the record. I call this meeting to order. We have Board Member Newsman. Will you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And in lieu of a prayer this morning, I am asking for a moment of silence so that we can reflect on our own personal source of inspiration and strength to help us best serve the people of Will County today. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll? Mueller. Here. Furlong. Here. Newquist. Here. Ogella. Here. Lucas.
Here.
Mitchell. Here. Gamper.
Here.
Trainier.
Present.
Fritz. Gould.
Here.
Van Dyne.
Here.
Balich.
Here.
Brooks.
Here.
Parker. Here. Ventura.
Present.
Coleman. Here. Berkowitz. Here. Pretzel.
Here.
Weigel.
Here.
Freeman. Here. Elias. Cowen. Sorry. Here.
21 present, 5 absent.
The 21 present, we have a quorum. I need a motion to place on file the certificate of publication.
Motion Mueller.
Motion by Mueller.
Second.
Seconded by Coleman. Madam Clerk, please call the roll. Mueller. Yes. Furlong.
Yes.
Newquist.
Yes.
Ogella.
Yes.
Mustis.
Yes.
Mitchell.
Yes.
Gazanfer.
Yes.
Trainier.
Yes.
Fritz. Gould.
Yes.
Van Dyne.
Yes.
Balich.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Ventura.
Yes.
Coleman.
Yes.
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Pretzel.
Yes.
Weigel.
Yes.
Freeman.
Yes.
Cowan.
Yes. 21 affirmative.
21 affirmative, the motion carries. I need a motion to approve the meeting minutes of the March 17th, 2022 board meeting.
Motion.
Motion by Trainier,
Second.
seconded by Gazanfer.
Previous.
Previous roll call by Newquist. Seconded by Brooks. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I need a motion to approve the executive session minutes from the March 17th, 2022 meeting.
Move.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Freeman. The previous by Cowen. Seconded by Coleman. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Madam Clerk, will you please acknowledge the elected officials and media present today?
Today we have County Executive Jennifer Bertino-Tarrant, County Clerk Lawrence Daly Ferry, Coroner Lori Summers, Recorder of Deeds Karen Stuckel, Treasurer Tim Brophy, Joliet City Councilman Terry Morris, and for the media we have Alice LeBray from the Daily Herald.
Thank you. At this time, I would invite Board Member Brooks to come to the podium for a check presentation to the Bad News Baseball Academy.
Mr. Wright, coming down? Okay, all right. You know, Tim, we're gonna put him right here so he can talk in this microphone. We're gonna put him right here.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, you grab the table, but yeah, thank you.
Good. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am so happy and pleased, I think I'm up, to present this big check to a good friend for a good cause, Mr. Willie Wright, who is the Bad News Baseball Academy Chair. Got some good news for the Bad News Bears on today. On behalf of the Will County Board, Waste Management, my colleague Denise Winfield is not here today, our county executive. I want to present $10,000 to the Bad News Baseball Academy on this morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. The mission of Bad News Baseball Academy: to reach and teach the underserved children of our community through the great game of baseball. We reach out to the underserved. We make it affordable. We teach the 9 principles of self-esteem. We reach the community through our children. Our children are the future, are the owners of our future. Play ball. Our mission is your mission.
Push the button, push the button. There we go.
Our mission is your mission. This shows that you're part of our mission, and we thank you.
All right. Where's our people? Where's our
All right, thank you. Now I'll make sure you get, you don't have to take this back with you, I'll make sure you get it. Yes, you can, but I get a percentage now. Thank you, Tim. I'll make sure you get it, Willie.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Guys, come watch us play when I'm coming out here.
All right, all right.
Come watch us win.
Speaker Cowen, will you please come to the podium to read the proclamation recognizing the Conservation Foundation's 50th anniversary.
Thank you, Madam Executive. And we have with us today the CEO of the Conservation Foundation, Brooke McDonald. Brooke, thank you so much for joining us. Whereas the Will County Board recognizes the importance of protecting open space and riparian areas for the health of its communities, the recreational enjoyment of current and future generations, and the protection of natural resources. And whereas in January 1972, business and community leaders established a conservation organization called the Forest Foundation of DuPage County, now known as the Conservation Foundation. And whereas in the Foundation's territory was expanded in 1997 to include Will County, and the headquarters of the Foundation was moved to McDonald Farm in Will County in 1998, in mine and Julie's district in Naperville. Whereas the Foundation is one of the region's largest and oldest private conservation organizations that supports the efforts of the Forest Preserve District of Will County, citizens of the county, and others working to protect the land and waters of Will County. And whereas the Foundation also recognizes Earth Day as an annual global event observed on April 22nd that celebrates the environmental movement and raises awareness about pollution and ways to maintain a clean habitat. And whereas Earth Day began in 1970 and for the past 52 years has resulted in policy change and led to the passage of the Clean Water and Endangered Species Act. And whereas the foundation holds an annual Earth Day benefit, which is a critical source of funding for their important work to save nearby nature, protect our region's vital waterways, and connect children of all ages to the wonders of the natural world. And whereas the county board has deemed it reasonable and beneficial for the county to recognize the foundation's notable contributions to the citizens of Will County over the previous 50 years. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive congratulate the Conservation Foundation on its 50 years of conservation efforts. Be it further resolved that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive express their appreciation for the Foundation's efforts in improving the health of our communities and promoting stewardship of our environment. And I so move.
Second, Ventura.
Motion by Cowen, second by Ventura. Your previous roll call.
Previous roll.
Second by Pierre. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Do you want to say anything?
Just thank you. Just thank you so much. We've so much enjoyed working with all of you in the Forest Preserve District over the past 25 years since we moved into Will County. We've helped the Forest Preserve preserve thousands of acres of land for people to enjoy and get outside nature. We also then work on the DuPage River, the Des Plaines River, and we want to play our part in helping sure that Will County remains a very healthy, vibrant place for people to live, work, and raise their families. So thank you very much for your partnership. Thank you. See you tonight.
Next, we have board member Chris Alone. Will you please come to the podium to read the proclamation recognizing April as National County Government Month.
So whereas counties are one of America's oldest form of government dating back to 1634, when the first county governments, called shires, were established in Virginia, and whereas today the 3,069 counties, parishes, and boroughs of the United States serve more than 315 million Americans and provide essential services to create health, safe environments, and vibrant communities. And whereas counties are diverse in structure and how we deliver services to our communities, and whereas counties provide public health services, administer justice, keep communities safe, foster economic opportunities, and much more, and whereas counties own and maintain 44% of the nation's road miles, 38% of the bridges, and involved in 78% of the public transportation systems. And whereas Will County and all counties take pride in our responsibility to protect and enhance the health, well-being, and safety of our residents in efficient and cost-effective ways. And whereas each year since 1991, the National Association of Counties has encouraged counties across the country to elevate awareness of county responsibility programs and services. And whereas Will County is an active member of the National Association of Counties and believes, like NACO, that stronger counties make a stronger America, now therefore be it resolved that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive do hereby proclaim April 2022 as National County Government Month and encourage all county officials, employees, schools, and residents to participate in county government celebration activities. Dated this 21st day of April 2022, signed by County Executive Jennifer Bettina Tarrant and Lauren Staley Ferry, Will County Clerk, and I so move.
Second.
Moved by Bergeron, seconded by O'Gala. Previous roll. By Cowen.
Second.
Seconded by Coleman. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Board Member Ventura will next read the proclamation for recognizing April as National Fair Housing Month.
Whereas Will County finds that decent and safe housing is part of the American dream and a goal for all Illinois residents. And whereas individuals of the state of Illinois have the right to choose where to live without discrimination based on race, color, religion, age, sex, familiar status, spiritual status, national origin or ancestry, disability, sexual orientation, gender identity, military status, unfavorable military discharge, and the order of protection status. And whereas acts of housing discrimination and barriers to equal housing opportunities are repugnant to a common sense of decency and fairness. And whereas the federal and state laws affirm the right of every person to equal housing opportunities. And whereas fair housing is a positive community good. And whereas economic stability, community health, and human relationships in all communities in the state of Illinois are improved by diversity and integration. And whereas stable, integrated, and balanced residential patterns are threatened by discriminatory acts and unlawful housing practices that result in segregation of residents and opportunities in our region. And whereas the talents of grassroots and nonprofit organizations, housing service providers, financial institutions, elected officials, state agencies, and others must be combined to promote and preserve integration, fair housing, and equal opportunity. Now be it proclaimed that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive do hereby recognize the month of April as National Fair Housing Month, and to establish Will County as an open and inclusive community committed to fair housing and to promote appropriate activities by private and public entities intended to provide or advocate for integration and equal housing opportunities for all residents and prospective residents of Will County. Dated this 21st day of April 2022, signed by Jennifer Bertino-Ferrant and attested to by Lawrence Daly Ferry, and I so move.
Previous roll, sorry, motion by Ventura, I hear a second, it's for the stop. Seconded by Mueller, it's roll call by Inquist. Is there a second?
Second.
By Brooks, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I'm sorry, can I be a guest on those as well? I got stuck in an accident on Ruby Street, so thank you.
Are there any public comments for today's agenda items? First for today's agenda, anything on the agenda? Would you like to come on down? Be kind, state your name so we have it for the transcripts.
Good morning. My name is Bernard Littlepage, and I reside at 208 Carriage Lane in Joliet. That's in the Sugar Highlands Creek area off of 53. And I'm here today to express my concern about the drug rehabilitation center going in off of 53.
We're going to stop because you're going to have an opportunity during public hearing for our land use. So this is general comments outside that. So
When is that going?
It's coming up next.
Okay.
We'll come back to
Okay.
So this is anything regarding outside of land use issues? Is there any other thing regarding on this agenda? Thank you. This time, all resolutions and ordinance from the March 17, 2022 board meeting have been signed and returned. We have no new business, and so we will now move on to Land Use and Development Committee, and I believe County Board Member Wiley, you're going to lead this today? Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to open the public hearing for land use cases. I'd like to mention that item number 6, which is the Rehab Center, is going to be tabled today because of the request by the petitioner, and because there's so many members missing, and there was a legal challenge to this. So it will be brought back next month, so just for information.
I'll second to go to public.
There is a motion to go to public hearing by Weigel, seconded by Mooston. Madam Clerk, please call the roll. Bueller? Yes.
Frislow,
Yes.
Newquist,
Yes.
Ogella,
Yes.
Mustis,
Yes.
Mitchell,
Yes.
Kazamper,
Yes.
Trainier,
Yes.
Fritz,
Yes.
Gould,
Yes.
Van Dyne,
Yes.
Balich,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Ventura,
Yes.
Coleman,
Yes.
Berkowitz,
Yes.
Pretzel,
Yes.
Weigel,
Yes.
Freeman,
Yes.
Carlitis,
Yes.
Cowan.
Yes. 22 affirmative.
We are now in public hearing. Please be advised, absolutely no new evidence or information will be allowed once this land use public hearing is closed. At that time, we will now, we have a long list of people, so I only have case numbers here, so you're gonna have to help me here, so we will, I think your issue is being postponed from what Mr. Weigel just shared with us, but if you would still like to have it, you're more
Yes,
than welcome.
yes, I would like to comment on it because I would not be able to be here next month.
Push that button, turn your mic on.
You're good.
There we go.
You're good.
There you go.
Yes, because I will probably not be able to be here next month. But I reside in the Sugar Creek Highlands, 208 Carriage Lane, and that's off of 53, off of Pheasant Run. And my concern, two of them, with the Rehabilitation Center is that the south end of Joliet seems to be getting the things that other areas in Joliet don't want. We already have, and we lost our grocery store off of Ridge Street for a rehab center, and now you want to put one on 53 in our neighborhood. The traffic is already terrible along 53. For the residents that live in Preston Heights and Sugar Creek Highlands, it is very dangerous to go to our homes off of 53 when we're traveling south. That's the only way to get home. Is to travel south on 53, and then we got to cross over the northbound lane to get to our residence on the east side of Joliet. And with the increased truck traffic and the intersections at Lewis, Girard, and Pheasant Run, there is no turning lane in the southbound 53 for us to cross over. So it is very dangerous for us to stop, wait for oncoming traffic on 53 North to cross over to go to our neighborhood with our tail sticking out with all that traffic. There is no turning lane. When the racetrack came in 2000 and when Amazon came in 2000, turning lanes were installed for those businesses and those activities to turn safely and expediently through northbound traffic. And we as residents in Sugar Creek Highland and Preston Heights, we need the same thing. It is very dangerous to cross over 53 North to get to our residence. And it's very simple. There's enough space in the median in 53 to put turning lanes as you have at Zarley and Redbud, which those are in Sugar Creek subdivision. But I'm talking Preston Heights and Sugar Creek Highlands, those are a little further south. It is very dangerous. And there's plenty of land there. I was not an engineer for 20 years in the United States Army. There's plenty of land there to put in a median, put in the proper drainage. You drive down 53 now through Preston Heights and Sugar Creek Highlands, water is sitting there. And it always sits there because there is no drainage. And that is a public nuisance. And I implore you to take a look at it, and something needs to be done about those turning lanes for the residents of Sugar Creek Highland and Preston Heights. I thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Oscar Kirkland, and I've been living in the area that I live in on Carriage Lane. I moved there in 1974. It was only my house and 2 more homes there. And I hate to sit and stand and say the lies that I've heard have been told to us, to people that have come. I hate to call names, I'm just real upset about it. I'm also an Army guy, and I'm a Vietnam combat veteran, and I'm rated 180 disability. But when they bought the racetrack, they told us they were gonna put lights and turning lanes. And I happen to know a young lady got killed right there trying to calm that down. It's just so many things. The area was nice. I've been there all my life, and they just built new homes there. And we still in the same predicament we was when they first started increasing the area out there. They come, the people from the county board and Will County Sheriff, police, different people, well, we're gonna do this when they have a race, we're gonna put the light there, we're gonna do this and that. And they haven't done anything but put more new homes, truck spot across there, where the liquor stores that don't supposed to be there, nobody can know, everybody know they don't supposed to be there, but they still there. So it's just the time, why do we have to get everything in our area that we worked hard for and pay and do like everybody else trying to have a nice neighborhood, but it's all the garbage seems like that nobody else don't want. You know, anything nobody don't want, it ends up in our area. We don't even like to say, we need a nice grocery store, we don't even have it. But we, you know, and I'm not saying, I don't know who supposed to talk to get something did, but it comes a time that, you know, kicking the can down the road is not working. And they just started building, and I've been told that they're gonna have more building coming down where the racetrack is at. Eventually that's gonna be developed. So what are we gonna do? That's all I have to say.
Thank you. We'll continue with the different cases here. We're going out to, I'll do the best to read Nate Washburn.
I'm just the attorney for the applicant. I have no
Okay,
further
very
comment.
good. John Thompson? Same, nothing, okay. Leonard? Elsie Kirkland?
That was
Thank you, I'm sorry. Okay, there you go, thank you, sorry.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Jacob Genarchek?
I'm the attorney for Bill.
Okay, thank you. Ada, thank you for this. Okay. Are you okay? All right. Maxim? Same? No? Okay. Gabriel? Zito? Did you speak?
No, I'm just here as a representative from Landlord's Properties.
Thank you. And we're going to talk about Nate. I believe this is Brian. Sean? Terry Morris? Oh, Brian, get to speak?
I'm sorry.
I think it's Brian.
Bittman?
Vivian?
That's me.
Sorry.
No problem.
Get to speak?
I am here to speak.
Come on down. You're on, sir.
We're on. Okay.
Please state your name first.
Dr. Vipin Sharma. I'm the owner of Existential Counselor Society Drug and Alcohol Rehab located in Joliet, Illinois. I just wanted to read a statement, if that would be okay. Dear esteemed members of the Will County Board, good morning. First and foremost, I want to thank you for the opportunity for allowing me to speak here today. I'm here because I am very passionate about a particular subject. I am the owner of Existential Counselor Society, and I am here to advocate for the development of a drug and alcohol rehab facility, mainly to be located at 2019 Chicago Street. I purchased this property in December of 2019. My intention was to create a very beautiful facility and provide inpatient drug and alcohol treatment to a maximum of 12 clients at any given time. I chose this property due to its location. The property was more rural, it had limited neighbors, and most importantly, it had the space to create the proper layout for a drug and alcohol rehab treatment center. I've always contributed to helping people. It has been my profession. It's also been my calling in life. My previous facilities have provided a much-needed service to a population that is typically written off. I wanted to continue my personal mission and continue to provide treatment to people struggling with addiction. Over the course of the past 3 years of ownership, I have kept my properties maintained. I have paid my property taxes, I have lived through a pandemic and continue to provide services by the grace of God. I waited for the right moment financially and decided to begin the arduous process of getting my request for a change of zoning from commercial to residential, which was heard in the various committee meetings. Just a brief aside here, I have contracted with an architect, a plumber, a general contractor, drywall technicians, and procured about $70,000 of materials for the construction of this project, primarily due to the shortages in the economic era that we all live in. To date, I have spent $320,000 over the past 3 years. This was an investment that I was willing to make to support my overall mission. I want the members of the board to understand that every project I have taken on and completed was always self-funded and at a considerable risk. I am not a corporation. I stand in front of you as the sole owner and proprietor of this organization. I am not and never have been a person with much to offer except myself in my entirety. Every project I embark on, I plan, prepare, and execute with the utmost precision, because that's my nature. My drug and alcohol rehab centers are a natural expression of my passion to help addicted people break the bounds of their addiction and live extremely productive lives. I also want to clarify what I am trying to open and the need for it in the community. Addiction is a disease and it's a ravaging one. One that knows no politics, no race, no religion, no creed, no gender, no financial status, timing, or age. I have seen the benefit to society when even a single addict is recovered and makes meaningful contributions to the society, to their families, their friends, and most importantly, to their own life. On the flip side of that coin, there is the pain and suffering that occurs when an addict does die. I deal with life and death. I have seen my fair share of both. I work with the Will County Drug Court and I provide the services that they require as they need it. I also work with hospital systems locally, up through Waukegan and down south, close to Missouri. Clients do come to ECS with very little hope of turning their lives around. And I can state with complete sincerity that ECS has provided hope when there was not much room for it in the lives of these clients. Addiction is rising. Fentanyl is killing people, destroying families, and there are only a finite number of facilities that can help provide treatment. I would like to continue to provide treatment and would ask that you allow me to do so at the Chicago Street property. I can promise you at least this much. Your support will be rewarded. Through ECS, you can feel that you too have engaged in saving another family from grieving the death of their loved one. I brought materials for the board members to review. And finally, I just want to say, my facilities are working with the indigent populations. I don't have $1 million clients coming to my facility. I'm not a Hollywood celebrity facility. I don't have that luxury. I work with extremely poor people, and 90% of the time I will go out of my way to go purchase them socks, underwear, shirts, shoes, whatever it is that they need to actually kind of retrieve some of the human dignity that gets lost in the world of addiction. The problems that are happening in society here, you hear about them all the time on the news, and it doesn't hit home until you lose someone of your own. And if you've never experienced that pain, I would never wish it upon you, because these deaths are senseless. I would hope that, given the context and the environment in which we live in, that you would consider my request for this project to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Doc, if you want, you can leave them on the table. Again, the members can go back with them. Councilman?
Good morning. I said I'd get a head start. That's a long walk from over there. I mean, forgot what I came up here to talk about. Madam Executive, thank you so much. Board, thank you. I don't want to get to call her names, but I have to mention Madam Clerk because I'm at her office quite a bit getting death certificates for the funeral. What a wonderful staff she has. You know, they're just very accommodating. So I just like the public to say that. Thank you. And again, thank you all. And I thought this is way bigger than what I do at City Hall. This is wow. Man, okay. Anyway, Dr. Strommer has a facility in the city of Joliet, the old certified grocery store. We had tried, the city staff tried to bring another grocery in. The owners, just real brief, they actually priced. Got no problem with that. So no grocery would want to come in under that, paying it, that overhead. So Dr. Sharman purchased it and done a wonderful job with the exterior. I haven't seen the inside. No problems. I'm always at the cleaners across the street from them, and they speak highly of the appearance of it. I just don't think this is the right location for his next facility. Wonderful man. I supported Dr. Sharman with the facility in Joliet. We went to a neighborhood meeting at the Park District. Remember Dr. Sharman? And the neighbors was kind of up in arms, and understandable why. But he has, and I must say, he has done everything I believe that he set out to do. City staff haven't gave me any reason that they have with him. I just don't think this is the right location. I know Dr. Sharma purchased this place 2 years ago, and I know city staff will like, probably county staff, do kind of tell people to, kind of get your ducks in the row. You're going to change the, the zoning, kind of do it maybe before you purchase the place in case you don't get the zoning changed. Because other property owners around him, and that's what has happened here, has bought the property thinking it was going to be commercial in front of their property. Now, it has hindered some of their ability, along with the neighbors thinking it was going to, remain that way as well. But it can always be changed, and that's, I'm sure, I understand what he's here doing now. But I've received phone calls from some of the neighbors, which doesn't live in the city limits, but I know them personally, and a couple of them was here today, and some others wasn't able to be here or at any of the meetings. But they expressed their concerns as well. So I just like to mention that. I did speak to my commissioner, and probably the reason why you all never seen me here, because I usually just call my commissioner Denise or Herb, and that's it. I don't have to come here. But there was some, going back and forth with what, people were saying that, so I just thought I would come personally and speak and see all of you all. I guess, hey, I'm sorry, I said I wasn't going to call no name. Okay. So anyway, not to take up any more of your time, because I see, we don't do this much in 2 months. You are doing it one day. So I'm going to quit complaining. Again, thank you all so much for your time, and we'll be back again. I know it's going to be painful, but I just thought I'd say that in case I can't get back next time. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. No one else has signed up. So last call for any public hearing cases. Okay. Now I need a motion to close the public hearing. Motion by Mueller, seconded by Weigel. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mueller,
Yes.
Brisbane,
Yes.
Newquist,
Yes.
O'Gala,
Yes.
Mustis,
Yes.
Mitchell,
Yes.
Kazamper,
Yes.
Trainer,
Yes.
Fritz, Gold,
Yes.
Van Dyne,
Yes.
Balich,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Parker, Ventura,
Yes.
Coleman,
Yes.
Berkowitz,
Yes.
Pretzel,
Yes.
Weigel,
Yes.
Freeman,
Yes.
Carlitis,
Yes.
Cowan.
Yes.
22 affirmative.
The public hearing is now closed. Mr. White.
First item is zoning case ZC 21-100. This is the Joliet Township vacant property on Manhattan Road. First item is a map amendment from A1 to I1 for a truck terminal. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Weidel, seconded by Pretzel. Is there previous roll call?
Previous
One
roll call.
time, give discussion, I'm sorry. Ms. Newquist.
I just had a quick question about this. I saw that the Forest Preserve District had some concerns, and they were hoping that if this passed, that there were some conditions put on it, or actually more data collection than anything else. And I wasn't sure if that was included in the conditions that were added on to this case.
I believe that's supposed to, they are supposed to follow the Forest Preserve's recommendations, according to what we passed at the committee.
Do we want to table this maybe until we have a chance to talk to the Forest Preserve?
We agreed with their conditions.
I'm sorry, what was that?
We agreed to accept their conditions.
Oh, you did? Okay, thank you. That's what I wanted to know.
Any other, Mr. Van Dyne?
Thank you, Madam Executive. Ms. Newquist, I did speak with the Forest Reserve this morning, and they do not object to this at all. And what Mr. Weigel has said is correct, so thanks.
Thank you. So we added this,
No, I was just going to say previous roll call.
very good, previous roll call by Cowen, seconded by Freeman, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
For the same case, I'll make a motion for a special use permit for a truck terminal with 4 conditions, and I so move.
Second, Trinier.
Motion by Weidel, seconded by Trinier. Previous roll call by Cowen, seconded by Mueller, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The second item on the agenda is ZC 21-102. This is for landscaping business in Green Valley Township on Stonko Road in Frankfort, Illinois. It's a special use permit for landscape and lawn maintenance business with 17 conditions. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Motion by Weigel, seconded by Freeman. Previous roll by Mueller, seconded by Burks. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 3 is zoning case ZC 22004. This is in Lockport Township on State Street. It's a map amendment from C1 and R4 to I1. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Second, Mueller.
Previous roll.
Motion by Weigel, seconded by Mueller. We have discussion. County Board Member Ventura.
Yeah, I would like to point out that in there was a letter by the diner that is just north of there that detailed some problems that they had. I understand that there were some concrete blocks that blocked their building. When the Will County inspectors went out there, those blocks were stacked behind the building, so at that time there was nothing for the inspectors to see. But my objection to this, it doesn't have anything to do with the business owner. I think that they should have a right to have their storage facility. My concern, as many of you know, is that we continue to approve these into I-1 because we have no other category for this, let's consider it super light industrial. So we're forced to make it I-1. the long-term planning then of our county allows for these later to become warehouses or other light industrial facilities. Even though that's not what this business owner is requesting, they have no other option but to request that because we have no other category. I would offer to postpone this so that we can create a accurate category for properties like this. We've seen many of these in the last 3 years. But I understand that some people want to move this forward. If it does move forward, I will be a no vote on this. I think that it is our responsibility as board members to consider the long-term growth of our county. Zoning allows us to help direct where things are built in our county, such as residential, commercial, industrial. When we don't take that into consideration and we just willy-nilly approve these because we want the business to have their business, then we have long-term unintended consequences, like having warehouse rows on roads that we didn't anticipate that happening. But by voting for this, we set precedents for other land in this corridor to then become warehouses. It is on a state route, it is on a truck route. It is foolish for us to think that if we continue to vote some of these into I-1, that it wouldn't then become a place for warehouses to want to be. So for that, I would encourage us to postpone this, create the correct category, allow this business to thrive under that new category, and also safeguard all of the residents. There are homes right behind this, all around this. We really need to just be better stewards. Thank you.
County Board Member Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Executive. I agree with some of Rachel's comments, but what I was wanting to bring to your attention, and I don't know if it matters, but in the narrative on this, it says map amendment from C1 and R4 to I and I think it should say I1. It just says I. I don't know if that matters, but I just wanted to point it out.
Listed in our approval, it says I-1 down below.
Great. Super.
Will be approved if it can have to come in.
County Board Member Brooks.
Good morning, Madam Executive. Let me begin by stating what I told my caucus earlier this week. This is in District 9. I currently represent District 8. And when you get my age, you learn how to stay in your lane. This is not in my district. However, I do disagree with my colleague in District 9 in that I don't believe we ought to punish the current business owner while waiting for a change. As you well know, and everybody in land use know, changes in those zones can take quite a while. But I think that what is presented here in the category that's afforded to Mr. Thompson for this business, this is the best thing we have right now. I don't think we ought to postpone, and I would encourage you to vote yes on this project. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second.
Previous roll. Review.
I think we've asked for a roll call already, so may I clerk please call the roll? Mueller? Yes. Furlong?
Yes.
Newquist? Yes. Ogalla? Yes. Mustis?
Yes.
Mitchell? Yes. Gazamper?
Yes.
Trainier?
Yes.
Fritz?
Yes.
Gould?
Yes.
Van Dyne?
Yes.
Balich?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Parker? Yes. Ventura?
No.
Coleman?
Yes.
Berkowitz?
Yes.
Pretzel?
Yes.
Weigel?
Yes.
Freeman?
Yes.
Corliss?
Yes.
Cowan?
Yes.
21 affirmative, 1 negative.
21 affirmative, the motion carries. Mr. White.
Also, I'd like to make a motion for the same case for a special use permit for light equipment sales, rentals with 5 conditions, and I so move.
Motion by Weigel, seconded by Mustis. Previous roll call?
Previous.
Can you change mine to a yes for the special use?
Previous roll call by Berkowitz, seconded by Ventura, with the exception of she's changed to yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The next case, number 4, is ZC 22005. This is located in Frankfurt Township, along Bolt Road, near Mokina and Orland Park. This is for a map amendment from R1 to I2, so they can continue their concrete recycling facility, which has been here for many years. I make a motion for the map amendment from R1 to I2. Committee recommends approval.
Second for Cowen.
Motion by White, seconded by Berkowitz, previous roll call by Lucis, seconded by Britton. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
For the same case, make a motion for a special use permit for concrete recycling facility with two conditions.
Motion by Weigel, seconded by Lucis, previous roll call by Cowen, seconded by Britton. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
For the same case, I'll make a motion for a special use permit for outdoor storage yard with one condition.
Second.
Motion by Weigel, seconded by O'Donnell, previous roll call by Pretzel, seconded by Brooks. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 5 is zoning case DC 22-006. This is in Homer Township, vacant property along Shelburne Road. It's a map amendment from A1 to I2. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Motion.
Motion by Weigel, seconded by Balich, previous roll call by Cowen, seconded by Mueller. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 6 is the rehab facility. I make a motion that we table.
Motion by Weigel.
Discussion.
Seconded by O'Donnell. County Board Member Ventura.
Yes, so my understanding is that the applicant only wants to postpone it because we don't have a full board here. I understand there's a legal objection, we need 20 votes to pass it, but it's also my understanding that there was no board member that was going to vote no for it anyway. So if that is if that's indeed the case, then I guess I don't understand why we're tabling it. If that's not the case, then I would just ask that any board members who need more time to say so, and we can postpone it. But if we really are going to vote on this, no matter if it's today or next month, I don't see the point of waiting 30 days if we can just go ahead and help the applicant out. Especially in the fact that we just read the proclamation for Fair Housing Month, and that would indeed include housing for people who need services like this.
Maybe we can pull the board and see if they want, if there is an interest.
County Board Member Brooks.
Madam Executive, the owner has made that request. And for whatever his reasons, I do know he needs to go back and talk to his attorneys. And he had asked that request, Mr. Weigel, to pull it off right now and give him a little more time. So that was his request. So I would be in support of removing it.
Okay. So we have a motion, we have a second to table it. County Board Member Balich.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that just because some people don't show up doesn't mean that you don't do a vote if you have a quorum. I find that absurd. You know, so if we table it, that's fine because the gentleman wants it. But at the same time, we shouldn't even be talking about tabling something because we don't even have certain people here. That's stupid.
So we have a motion and a second. Is there a previous roll call? Previous roll. Mueller, second. Second, Berkowitz. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, that concludes the zoning cases. I have a resolution 21-234 authorizing the county executive to execute an intergovernmental agreement with the New Lake Fire Protection District regarding the notification process of building permits. Came before the Land Use Committee about a year ago. They are requesting information from land use about building permits so that they can know who's building a house in an unincorporated area so they can enforce their sprinkler ordinance in the unincorporated area of fire district. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Second, Ventura.
Motion by Weigel, seconded by Pritchard. Roll call by Freeman and, sorry. County Board Member Balich.
And I don't like the idea of sprinklers, and everybody knows it, there's a lot of reasons for it, and, not to get into an argument, but this is about giving this fire department stuff that they can get automatically by 20. So why do we have to make them FOIA stuff? We should just give it to them.
So this is what that agreement does. County Board Member Berkowitz.
Thank you, Madam Executive. I realize staff came forward to... Thank you. Staff had come forward and said that this would create or remove some of the burden of them by providing this information, which should be provided to them. I had a question about the length of time, though. I recall that there was a concern about the length of time for the agreement, and I know it's probably right in front of me, but was that reduced?
Yes.
The committee changed it from 20 years to 10 years.
Okay, exactly. Thank you.
County Board Member Moose.
You know, this was a matter of discussion a number of years ago, and it really had to do with the county enforcing various fire protection districts ordinances, which were different. And the county board at the time felt we can only enforce our ordinance. We did ask the fire departments of Will County to come up with an ordinance that they all could adopt if we have to enforce. So this is always a little bit of a concern of mine on exactly how this does work. Because are we going to deny building permits based on fire protection districts ordinance? Or is the fire protection district going to have to, I guess Mary, I will get you on this, or are they going to have to do separate enforcement to stop the building permit for the building? So I'm just wondering how this is going to work. It would be easier if they had a common ordinance through all fire department agencies that we could help enforce or adopt. But I'm concerned how this is going to work, and whether fire departments that have various different ordinances, how they're going to enforce this, and will that stop us from issuing a building permit? Because it has to be more than just them saying to us, well, we're not going to allow it, we're not signing off. Which I think they have to do anything.
So I am going to look to land use for the discussion that occurred between land use and the fire protection district. Legally, the county has no obligation to enforce the fire protection district's ordinance.
Good morning, Brian Radner from the Will County Land Use Department. This will not stop the department from issuing a building permit. This will allow the fire district to have access to the information that they obtain through FOIA, like they do every couple of weeks right now. So instead of submitting a FOIA request, they'll get an auto-generated report that's going to show all the building permits for single-family residential homes, and get that same data that they can get through FOIA. There is no private information that will be given through this data sharing agreement. And if the district objects to the home that's being constructed, then they're going to have to enforce their own regulations, but the county can still issue a building permit under their codes.
County Board Member Berkowitz.
Thank you, Madam Executive. Brian, so this will apply to unincorporated development as well as incorporated within Blue Lennox, is that correct?
This will only apply to the unincorporated areas. This agreement is for what the county has jurisdiction over, the land use department, which is the unincorporated areas of the fire protection district's boundaries.
But they have the ability to have unincorporated development comply with their district. Is that correct?
It is correct that the fire district does have that ability for the unincorporated areas. This is New Lenox Fire Protection District that does include, their boundaries do include municipalities of New Lenox and I believe Mohina and maybe one other, but it also includes the unincorporated areas. But this agreement is only for new homes constructed in the unincorporated area.
Are there any other fire districts that have these types of requirements and these restrictions?
There are 2 other districts in Will County, Manhattan Fire Protection District, and then I believe Elwood, but I'd have to verify that. So they're not the only one that has it.
County Board Member Fritz.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree with Member Ballard that in general, I think requiring sprinklers and the higher level of scrutiny that New Lenox Fire Protection District requires for new construction, I think is really excessive. And I generally will vote for property owners' rights, but in this case, I think it behooves the property owner to be aware of the regulations they're building, and perhaps they will realize they should probably build their house someplace else that will be less expensive because of the excessive regulation. So in this way, I think it's a protection for the property owner to be aware of all the requirements and demands.
Thank you very much. So we have a motion and a second. Is there a previous roll call? Previous roll call, Newquist, seconded by Van Dyne. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next item, Resolution 22-63, is a request for refunding of fees. This is a person who started a housing project, and we put money into a bond fund for fees, and the developer did not come through and complete the work and abandon the project. So we're refunding to them the bond money from the insurance company. There's no county money involved. The committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Motion by Weigel, seconded by Frizzalone. Is there previous roll? Previous roll by Van Dyne, seconded by Freeman. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next land use meeting is May 10th. That concludes my report.
Thank you for now today, Mr. Weigel. County Board Member Grenier, Finance Committee.
Good morning, everyone. We've got some monthly financial reports to put on file today. The first is a report from the Illinois Department of Revenue showing the sales tax remitted to Will County for the month of January 2022 to be $2,808,616.70. The RTA tax received is $3,462,997.61 for a total of $6,271,613.68. The second report we have to put on file is the Will County Monthly Treasurer Report dated February 28, 2022 from the Will County Treasurer, Tim Brophy, and I so move.
Second, Freeman. Motion by Grenier, seconded by Freeman. Previous roll call.
Previous roll.
Previous roll call, Godfather. Seconded by Boostis. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
The next item I have is for Resolution 22-16. This is appropriating funds from the Illinois Department of Public Health COVID-19 response grant into the Will County Health Department budget, and I so move.
And do you have, is it 2264 we have? That we have? Okay.
Oh, yeah, but it says 2264, but then it says Resolution 2216.
Just making sure. Yep, no, we just want to make sure we're on the same page. So we have a motion by Grenier, seconded by Gonzberg. Is there a previous? Previous by Musa, seconded by Mueller. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 3, 22-65, appropriating grant funds in the tuberculosis clinic budget, and I so move.
Second, Mueller. Motion by Grenier, seconded by Mueller. Previous roll call by Brooks, seconded by Cowen. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 4, 22-66, 26, appropriating grant funds in the Sunny Hill Nursing Home budget, and I so move.
Second, Ventura.
Motion by Grenier, seconded by Ventura. Previous roll call by Zonker, seconded by Mueller. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Number 5, 22-67, authorizing county executive to accept additional funds granted by the Department of Human Services, SUPR, to the Will County fiscal year 22 Illinois Prevent Prescription Drug Opioid Overdose Related Deaths, and I so move.
Second, Freeman. Motion by Grenier, seconded by Freeman. Previous roll call by Mueller, seconded by Brooks. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And my favorite, number 6, 22-68, transferring funds within the state's attorney money laundering budget, and I so move.
Second, Mueller. Motion by Grenier, seconded by Mueller. Previous roll call by Gansker, seconded by Freeman. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Number 7, 22-69, authorizing an amendment to the auditing contract with Baker Tilly to increase the fee for the fiscal year 2021 audit to a not-to-exceed amount of $147,010. And I so move.
Motion by Grenier, seconded by Gansker. Previous roll call by Berkowitz, seconded by Crisarone. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Number 8, 22-70, transferring appropriations within various county budgets, and I so move.
Second. Motion by Grenier, seconded by Mueller. Previous roll call by Ogala, seconded by Cowen. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And our next Finance Committee meeting is scheduled for May 3rd at 11 a.m. See you all there.
Thank you. Chair Van Dyne, Public Works and Transportation.
Thank you, Madam Executive, and good morning to everyone. The Public Works and Transportation Committee has 19 items on the agenda this morning. As you can tell, the county is very busy upgrading our infrastructure. Let's start with resolution number 1, 22-71, confirming award of the contract to Dendler Incorporated, $285,580 for the countywide crack ceiling in all county board districts, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Gansberg. Previous roll call by Freeman, seconded by Brooks. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
22-72, improvement by county under the Illinois Highway Code for countywide crack sealing using the MFT funds, $325,000 in all county board districts, and I'll make a motion.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Grenier. Previous roll call by Berkowitz, seconded by Balich. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
22-73, confirming award of contract to PT Farrell Construction, $683,714 for 191st Street resurfacing from US 45 east to 80th Avenue in the districts of 2 and 12, and I so move.
Second,
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Eustace. Previous roll call by Wyville, seconded by Karlitis. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
22-74, improvement by county under the Illinois Highway Code for 191st Street using the MFT funds, $750,000, county boards districts 2 and 12, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Gansberg. Previous roll call by Pretzel, seconded by Eustace. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
22-75, confirming award of contract to Decker Supply Company, $107,415 for countywide sign materials in all the county board districts, and I'll make the motion.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Freeman. Previous roll call by Mueller, seconded by O'Gallagher. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
22-76, improvement by county under the Illinois Highway Code for countywide sign materials using the MFT funds, $115,000, all county board districts, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Gansberg. Previous roll call by Coleman, seconded by Crisarone. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
22-77, confirming award of contract to Gallagher Asphalt Corporation, $161,440.85 for Green Garden Road District overlay on various roadways, County Board District Number 2, and I so move.
second, Eustace.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Eustace. Previous roll call by Brooks, seconded by O'Gallagher, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. These lists are really hard.
Okay, we're on number 8, 22-78, authorizing approval of establishment of altered speed zone 597, County Board District 13, and I so move.
Second, Freeman. Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Freeman. Previous roll call by Gosper, seconded by Mueller, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
22-79, authorizing approval of establishment of altered speed zone 598, County Board District 13, and I'll make the motion.
Second, Freeman. Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Freeman. Previous roll call by Gosper. Second, Colitis, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
22-80, providing title commitment reports for Laraway Road, County Highway 74 at the intersection of Route 45, County Board District 2, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Gosper. Previous roll call by Eustace, seconded by Frigga Long, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Number 11, 22-81, providing title commitments report for Weber Road, County Highway 88 from Airport Road to 135th Street, County Board Districts 3 and 13, and I so move.
Second, Freeman. Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Freeman. Previous roll call by Gosper, seconded by Colitis, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
22-82, authorizing an IGA for the installation of illuminated street name signs at the intersections along Weber Road, County Highway 88 at Crest Hill Drive at City Center Boulevard, County Board District 9, and I'll make the motion.
Second, Ventura.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Ventura. Previous roll call Parker, seconded by Mitchell, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carried.
Resolution 22-83, authorizing an agreement between the County of Will and Enterprise Products for reimbursement for relocating facilities at 143rd Street, County Board District 7, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Gosper. Previous roll call by Edwards, seconded by Mitchell, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
22-84, authorizing approval of professional services agreement for the right-of-way acquisition services for County Highway 37 from State Street to Golden Oak Drive, County Board District 7, and I so move.
Second. Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Gallagher. Previous roll call by Gosper, seconded by Brooks, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
22-85, authorizing the appropriation of the MFT funds, $1,031,670 for the right-of-way acquisition services along 143rd Street, County Highway 37, and County Board District 7, and I so move.
Second, Mueller. Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Griswold. Previous roll call by Mueller, seconded by Gould. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
22-86, authorizing approval of supplemental professional services agreement for design engineering second phase for Wilmington Township Road District, County Board District 6, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Gould.
Previous.
Previous roll call by O'Donnell, seconded by Berkowitz. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
22-87, authorizing approval of professional services agreement for design engineering services, the second phase at US 45 intersection, County Board District 2, and I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Gosper. Previous roll call by Brooks, seconded by Freeman. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
22-88, authorizing approval of professional services agreement for design engineering services, second phase with EXP US Services for Weber Road, County Highway 88 from Airport Road to 135th Street, County Board Districts 3 and 13, and I so move.
Second. Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Freeman.
Previous.
Previous roll call by Gosper, seconded by Brick. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Lastly, Resolution 22-89, authorizing the sale of surplus real property acquired by condemnation, and I so move.
Second, Trenier.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Grenier.
Previous.
Roll call by Mueller, seconded by Berkowitz. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Our next Public Works and Transportation Committee meeting is scheduled for May 3rd, 2022 at 9 a.m., and that will conclude our report. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any? Thank you. County Board Member Mueller for Diversity and Inclusion Committee.
Thank you, County Executive. Unfortunately, our chair and our vice chair of diversity and inclusion weren't able to be with us today. So I'm going to just let you folks know we don't have anything to report this month. The next meeting will be on May 4th at 10 a.m. And that's my understanding. We're going to have a report on where we're at with the study. So, see you there. Thank you.
Thank you. County Board Member Ventura, Public Health and Safety Committee.
Yes, thank you. I've got 22-90, awarding a bid for housekeeping supplies for Sunny Hill Nursing Home, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Ventura, seconded by Davenport. Previous roll, Paul Mueller, seconded by Newquist. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next, I have 22-91, awarding bid for dietary and nursing products at Sunny Hill Nursing Home, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Ventura, seconded by Gala. Previous roll call. Davenport, seconded by Brooks. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I did bring something up in executive, but we respectfully ask that the RFP that we approved last year on homelessness study come back on the radar. We know that there were some hiccups in the last year, so we're hoping to bring that back. But I did speak with Mitch about it at an executive meeting. Our next Public Health and Safety Committee meeting is scheduled for May 3rd, 2022 at 1 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Looking for legislative? You have someone presenting for legislative? Oh, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Are you the?
I know we're there late.
All right.
We did not have a meeting this month. We did not have a meeting this month. We were
It's on, okay.
So, there's nothing to report. Our next meeting is scheduled for May 10th, 2022 at 9 a.m.
Thank you. Chair Brooks, capital improvements.
Good morning, Madam Executive, ladies and gentlemen. I have no resolution of capital improvement to bring forward. Our next meeting is scheduled for May the 3rd, following Public Works until that time. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Speaker Cowen, executive committee.
Thank you very much. I have 19 items today as well.
Wow.
Resolution 22-92, authorizing an agreement with Constellation Energy to provide electricity to the Will County Renewable Natural Gas Plant, and I so move.
Second, Ventura.
Motion by Cowen, seconded by Ventura. County Board Member Gould, first session.
Thank you, Madam Executive. I would like to offer an amendment with respect to Resolution 2292 in the language above the 6th paragraph down where it says this award is for 75% green block and index price, etc. My motion is to amend that to delete 75% and insert thereon 50%.
Second. Okay, there is a motion to amend 50% by Gould, seconded by O'Gara. Discussion. County Board Member Ventura, then Lucis.
Yes, we had a lot of discussion during executive. The compromise was that we came to 75%. I would ask that we vote no on Don Gould's motion to move it to 50% and keep it at 75%. Our nuclear plants were bailed out by our state to the tune of $800 million, so they're not closing anytime soon. All of this is still under Exelon. They still get the contract regardless. But by buying RECs, it allows other entities, when our government invests in renewable energy, it allows other entities to do the same by lowering that price in the future. This also ensures that we are moving towards renewable energy so that we all can have a planet to live on. I think Will County should stay at the 75% to send that message that we care about all of our residents, but we also care about keeping those jobs too. 75% is a fair compromise, and I would hope that everyone here would vote no on the motion and yes on 75%. Thank you.
County Board Member Lucis.
Yes, yeah, I somewhat like a busy clarification. So we went to 50%, we're talking about then 50% nuclear energy, or what they call brown energy, which is carbon neutral or carbon free. So it is a form of clean energy, even though not renewable energy. can talk about subsidies, but there's no industry in the entire country that is more subsidized than the green energy industry. You know, to hundreds of billions of dollars most likely, when you consider all the tax breaks that get involved. So let's not talk about who's getting subsidized here. So for clarification, we would be going from 75% renewable green energy, 25% what I'm going to call nuclear energy. Certainly we have a nuclear plant here and provides well over 1,000 jobs, good paying jobs, and of course I believe they're our biggest taxpayer in the entire county for real estate taxes. So then we'd be going 50% renewable green, 50% nuclear or / brown. Is that correct? Is that what the amendment would do? I mean, the only reason I say that is because you said 50%, you would take the 50%, but you didn't make a mention of the other 50%. 50% of each. Okay, I just wanted to clarify. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. County Board Member Gould and Mueller.
Thank you again, Madam Executive, and I just like to take a couple minutes. As I've said many times, I have Braidwood units 1 and 2 in my district. As Mr. Moose has stated, there are about 1,000 employees. That doesn't count all the economic impact when they have a turnaround, which brings in tradesmen from all over northern Illinois to work in this plant. Many of my constituents are employed there, and if you take a ride around the district and even thereabouts in parts of Will and Grundy County, you see the signs in people's yards that say, "Save our nuclear plants." These people are very concerned. This is how they support their families. And they're very concerned about the health of the nuclear industry. I'm very sensitive to their concerns. I think that we should embark upon a strategy that says if we're going to buy locally, if we're going to purchase in this county, and then those are dollars that are reinvested in Will County. We know that this is a large economic engine in the county, and nuclear power is important. I might mention that just 2 days ago, the Biden administration reiterated the importance of nuclear power to our economy. The Secretary of Energy Granholm said, "We are using every tool available to get this country powered by clean energy by 2035, and that includes prioritizing existing nuclear fleet for continued emissions-free electricity generated and the economic stability for the communities leading this important work." So it sounds like the federal government is on board with keeping nuclear power, and they recognize the importance that nuclear power has to the communities. That was stated by Secretary Granholm just 2 days ago. So for those reasons, I'm going to recommend that we approve this amendment.
Thank you. We have County Board Member Wheeler.
Thank you. I wanted to clarify a point Mr. Muse has made regarding green energy versus clean energy and nuclear and whatever else you said is clean energy. And I was hoping that maybe somebody from our energy department could clarify what brown energy is so that folks understand that, I mean, I want to understand that further before I vote on the amendment. Thank you.
Is there someone here who can explain? Dave? Yes, that's fine. Yeah, 2 of you up there, so whoever lets you do it.
Yes, you get the podium first.
I'm Mark Skipsek.
We're adding a little fun.
All right, good morning, everybody. So for the basis of this agreement for this term, brown energy does include nuclear. Green energy, renewable energy would be wind or solar or a different renewable energy source. But for the purposes of this agreement, nuclear would fall under brown energy.
And what else?
What else falls under brown energy?
Coal, natural gas.
Yeah, but they're not.
Okay.
Come on. Come on.
Don't go far. Here we spark something. County Board Member Ballage.
You know, when you talk about green energy, it's kind of a farce what we're told about that. Now, in Europe, they're getting oil from Russia now because They know it don't work with the green energy because in the wintertime, like in Texas last year, people were freezing to death because the energy didn't work. Then you talk about to make that energy. How many gallons of diesel does it take for a bulldozer or any kind of machine to dig into the earth to pull up the batteries, the stuff we need, the lithium? How much does it cost for that? And then how many square miles of earth is destroyed just to get the stuff to make a battery? And then after you make the battery, there's nowhere to dispose of it. You can't throw it in the landfill. So from what I've been reading, there's like all kinds of Tesla cars that the batteries cost more than the cars worth now, so they don't get new batteries. So they're sitting there, beautiful cars sitting there with no battery because the battery went dead. I mean, you can go on and on about the windmills. The propellers on them you can't put in a landfill. So, you know, when you talk about green, I think it's absurd. You've got natural gas, which is clean, but they don't want to talk about that, and that works all winter, nothing freezes up. Then you also have nuclear, and other countries have nuclear. We just make it so it's almost impossible to get a nuclear plant built now with all the regulations. If we eliminated some of the regulations, maybe we'd have more energy and would be cheaper. So this is a big problem here that one side is saying stuff that isn't true, because there's all kinds of fallacies being said about green energy. Therefore, I should tell you, therefore, I am with Don Gould 100%, and at caucus I said we should go to 0. But, you know, I'll compromise and go to 50 because I'm a fair guy.
County Board Member Mitchell. Hi. I'm having a problem with the publication. For the purposes of this contract, yes, continue to mention that. So, is it or is it not? And are you and for the purpose? So, in other words, to be clear, if it were another contract or something else, then it would be green energy. But for this, it's going to be called brown energy. That's what it sounds like, isn't it?
So, County Board Member Mitchell, I want to be very careful with using terms and definitions because they do vary state by state, they vary by jurisdiction, they vary by companies. So for the purpose of this agreement, I will say that nuclear energy falls under brown.
I rest my case.
I know it can get confusing, so I just want to make sure I specify for the purposes of this agreement, that's how we define it.
Thank you. We're going to go to people who have spoken first. So, County Board Member Trenier.
Thank you. I just want to read from the USA Today. Wind turbine blades can be recycled now, though the practice is not widespread. Wind turbine blades have been typically constructed to last for 20 to 25 years. This means many blades that are being decommissioned now were made a couple of decades ago. At that time, they weren't designed with recycling in mind, but the new blades that are going up are. So there's a lot more that are going up currently than there are that were put up 25 years ago. I think we'll be fine with the recycling.
Well, as long as USA Today says.
Thank you, thank you.
Well,
County Board, please listen. County Board Member Berkowitz.
Thank you, Madam Executive. A lot of good points here today, but I do support the amendment for the 50% because we also have a responsibility to our taxpayers. And we would pay significantly more for the 75% versus the 50%. So for that reason, I feel it is reasonable, and we are promoting green energy at the 50% level, but we're also respecting our taxpayers, the people who work hard and live in this county, who need, you know, these extra dollars to maintain their livelihood. So I do support the amendment, and I think that's one conversation we have not been having. It's the people who are paying our taxes, and this is a substantial cost. So I feel the 50% is the most reasonable option we have. Thank you.
Thank you. County Board Member Newquist.
I actually have two questions. One is, if we stay with the 75%, does Will County itself have enough green energy to satisfy that 75% requirement, or would it have to go outside the county? And then my second question kind of goes along with that, and that is, I haven't seen any figures, maybe I missed it, comparing the cost of electricity at 50 to 75%. Is it in there? But I just missed it, I'm sorry. If you guys could just touch on that briefly, thanks.
So to speak on your first point, the renewables sourcing is going to be elsewhere. It can come from Will County, some of it can, but you can't measure like 25% is coming from Will County and 50 is coming elsewhere. It's usually what's the nearest, what's the most readily available. So I don't feel comfortable answering to that extent. As for the prices, we do have them up here.
I apologize for that, just someone didn't see that.
So if we go with the 50% green block and index offer for 48 months, the total projected annual per year, which is estimated, would be $1,866,604.90. So that's for the 4-year term. Yeah. And then for the 75, it would be for the same term, $1,903,945.25.
So we're talking $100,000 difference up from 40.
Roughly, yeah.
Okay, thank you, appreciate it.
Can we call the vote?
I got a,
People, have you spoken on this, Judy?
No, I shouldn't.
Okay, so you can call for the vote. Thank you. I need a second.
Second.
Second Frenzo, and then we need to call the vote. Mueller? No. We're just taking a roll call on, we have to take a roll call on whether or not to just call the vote, stop discussion. We're taking a vote on to stop discussion. Oh, thank you.
Repeat exactly what we're voting.
We're voting on right now to stop further discussion on this, and we'll take the vote after. Mueller? Yes. Furlong?
Yes.
Newquist?
Yes.
O'Gala?
Yes.
Mustis?
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Kazanfer?
Yes.
Tranier?
Yes.
Fritz? Gould?
Yes.
Van Dyne?
Yes.
Balich?
yes, but I just want to make a statement.
No.
When somebody pulls up Google, the phone's live. I can pull up other stuff on a computer.
Yes.
It's more accurate.
Parker?
Yes.
Ventura?
I'm with Ballage, no.
You have a yes or no vote, Mr. Balich?
Yes.
Yes.
You're a no? You're a no or yes?
I'm a no.
Coleman?
Yes.
Berkowitz?
Yes.
Pretzel?
Yes.
Weigel?
Yes.
Freeman? Yes. Carlitis?
Yes.
Cowan?
Yes.
21 affirmative, 1 negative.
All right, thank you very much. So now we are voting on Mr. Gould's amendment to reduce it to 50%. It was moved by Mr. Gould, seconded by O'Dowd. So this is to reduce it to 50%. Madam Clerk, please call the roll. Mueller? No. Furlong?
Yes.
Newquist?
Yes.
O'Gala?
Yes.
Mustis?
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Kazanfer?
No.
Tranier?
No.
Fritz?
Yes.
Gould?
Yes.
Van Dyne?
Yes.
Balich?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Ventura?
No.
Coleman?
Yes.
Berkowitz?
Yes.
Pretzel?
Yes.
Weigel?
Yes.
Freeman?
No.
Carlitis?
Yes.
Cowan?
No.
Affirmative, 6 negative.
With 16 members voting in favor, the motion carries. So I now need a motion to approve the resolution as amended.
So moved.
Motion by Frizzalone, seconded by Cowan. Madam Clerk, please call the roll. Mueller. Yes. Furlong.
Yes.
Newquist.
Yes.
Ogalla.
Yes.
Wolstis.
Yes.
Mitchell. Yes. Zanfer.
No.
Trainier.
Yes.
Fritz. Gould.
Yes.
Van Dyne.
Yes.
Malich.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Ventura.
No.
Coleman.
Yes.
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Pretzel.
Yes.
Weigel.
Yes.
Freeman. Yes. Curlitis.
Yes.
Cowan.
Yes.
20 affirmative, 2 negative.
20 members in the affirmative, the motion carries. Speaker Powell.
Thank you very much. 22-93, approval of the Moving Will County Truck Routing and Communities Plan as presented by Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning, and I so move.
Second, Ventura.
Motion by Cowan, seconded by Ventura. The previous, Madam Clerk, please call the roll. Mueller. Yes. Furlong.
Yes.
Newquist.
Yes.
Ogalla.
Yes.
Lucas.
Yes.
Mitchell. Yes. Zanfer.
Yes.
Trainier.
Yes.
Fritz. Gould.
Yes.
Van Dyne.
Yes.
Malich.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Parker. Yes. Ventura.
Yes.
Coleman.
Yes.
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Pretzel.
Yes.
Weigel.
Yes.
Freeman. Yes. Curlitis.
Yes.
Cowan. Yes.
22 affirmative.
22 affirmative, motion carries. Speaker.
Thank you. 22-94, authorizing an agreement with the Illinois Development Authority for the purpose of funding the Strong Communities Program, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Cowan, seconded by Lucas. Previous roll call by Mueller. Seconded by Trainier. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
22-95, ratifying emergency procurement for adding kennel space at the Will County Animal Control Building, and I so move.
Second, Mueller.
Previous.
Motion by Cowan, seconded by Mueller. Previous roll call by Gosper.
Second.
Seconded by Mitchell. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
22-96, awarding bid for household hazardous waste collection, and I so move.
Motion by Cowan, seconded by Freeman. Previous roll call.
Previous
by
roll.
O'Donnell, second by Newquist. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
22-97, authorizing 3-year contract extension for telecommunications, local and long-distance service, and I so move.
Motion by Cowan, seconded by
Previous.
Mueller. Previous roll call.
Second.
By Brooks, seconded by Van Dyne. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
22-98, authorizing a memorandum of understanding with Drug Enforcement Administration Chicago Field Division to provide access to the county-wide radio system, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Cowan, seconded by Ogalla. Previous roll call by Mueller, seconded by Coleman. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
22-99, authorizing renewal of wraparound professional liability insurance for the Will County Community Health Center, and I so move.
Motion by Cowan, seconded by Mueller. Previous roll call by Ogalla, seconded by Lucas. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
22-100, authorizing change order for Midwestern contractors for the additional work required for the RNG pipeline, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Cowan, seconded by Van Dyne. Previous roll call by Ogalla, seconded by Brooks. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
22-101, authorizing change order from SCS Energy for vendor-specific sole source spares parts for our RNG plant, and I so move.
Motion by Cowan, seconded by Mueller. Previous roll call by Fritz, seconded by Berkowitz. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
22-102, authorizing a change order from SCS Energy for the removal and mitigation of an orphan underground storage tank with the RNG plant construction site, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Cowan, seconded by Van Dyne. Previous roll call by Mitchell, seconded by Kinnear. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
22-103, correcting scrivener's error on resolution 22-39, establishing parameters for the expenditure of the American Rescue Plan funds, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Cowan, seconded by Mueller. Previous roll call by Eustace, seconded by Ogalla. And all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
22-104, authorizing Sirius IBM lease purchase for real estate system, and I so move.
Second. Motion by Cowen, seconded by O'Donnell. Previous roll call by Mueller, seconded by Coleman. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
22-105, replacement hire for workforce services career advisor, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Cowen. Motion by Cowen, seconded by Johnson first, sorry there. Previous roll call by Mitchell, seconded by Brooks. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
22-106, really excited about this one. Replacement hire for county executive HR director, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Cowen, seconded by O'Donnell.
Previous roll call.
Previous roll call by Lucius, seconded by Karlitis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
22-107, replacement hire for animal control data entry clerk, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Cowen, seconded by Brooks. Previous roll call by Freeman, seconded by Mueller. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
22-108, replacement hire for Sunny Hill Nursing Home Director of Environmental Services, and I so move.
Second, Ventura.
Motion by Cowen, seconded by Ventura. Previous roll call by Karlitis, seconded by Brooks. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
22-109, replacement hire for Sunny Hill Nursing Home RN staff development, education, and infection control, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Cowen, seconded by Ventura. Previous roll call by Freeman, seconded by O'Gala. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
22-110, authorizing vehicle purchase for coroner's office and EMA department from county board contingency, and I so move.
Motion by Cowen, seconded by Freeman. Discussion, County Board Member Griswold.
Yeah, since all we can do is get in line to order vehicles right now, can't actually take possession of any, I suggest we move this back to finance so they can find an appropriate place in the budget for next year, which is probably when we're going to get them. Look at it then. The agencies could go ahead and put an order in, because with all state contracts, there is a non-funding agreement that if in fact the vehicle comes available and the government agency doesn't have the money or doesn't fund it, then they don't have to pay for it. Someone else will grab that car anyway. So they can go ahead and get in line and place an order. But there's no point in us funding it now out of contingency, because they're not going to get these cars till next year anyway, which would be next year's budget. So I suggest we move this back to finance. I would make that motion.
Second. So there is a motion to move it back to finance, seconded by O'Donnell. Any discussion on the motion? So,
I have a question.
okay, we'll get you, then we have you all, you press your button, we'll go through it. This is on, there are questions and discussion on the motion to move it back to finance. County Board Member Ventura.
Yes, I'm fine moving it back to finance. I'd like to add that when they do move it back, there were 2 quotes provided. Some of them were hybrid and some of them for regular. I understand that there is a long waiting list for both. So if they could please discuss both of those at finance so that it's clear when it moves forward which one of those contracts would be moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. County Board Member Brooks.
Although I do concur with Mr. President's recommendation, however, I have a son in the car business, and he told me unless you sign up now, you're right, Mike, it might take a year. And I've been waiting 40 years for my Corvette. So I think, though, Madam Executive, I concur, but I think what I'm being told is, unless you put that order in now.
We don't have to put any money down. We just have to place an order under the state contract. We don't pay until we get the vehicle,
Okay.
which will be in next year's budget.
I rescind my comment with the exception of, I want the Corvette. Thank you.
County Board Member Mueller.
Thank you. It's my understanding that these departments are desperately in need of these vehicles, and so I'm struggling with delaying anything. If this was, I guess my problem is if we send this back to finance, how much is this delaying them getting their cars? I understand they won't get them until next year, but there's a big difference in next year January or next year December, because we talked about it for a really long time. And they're in need of these vehicles. So I want to make sure that we're not delaying them receiving the vehicles, even if it's going to be next year.
We're going to have
Ray Tate will respond.
Just a suggestion that, because I think it's difficult for department heads to go forward with the purchase without knowing where the funding is coming from. So at the very least, I would suggest county board authorize the purchase, but send it back to finance for how the financing will take place.
Okay. I would make that motion.
Question. Okay, so we have, you're gonna make a motion.
Amendments are.
Amend the amended motion. Amend the motion, do we have a second on that?
Second.
Second, O'Gall. County
Question.
Board Member Ventura on the.
Yes, so the motion to give them permission to purchase, again, are they purchasing the hybrid or are they purchasing the non-hybrid?
So the decision of what kind of vehicle should be purchased should be, for the elected officials, it should be in their discretion based on the needs of their office. It shouldn't be regulated by county board as to the vehicle they purchase.
Right, but there are two quotes that came forward, so what is the coroner asking for, I suppose?
Well, the coroner's here, I guess she can answer that.
Okay, I didn't hear that. Come on down, Lori. Oh, sure. You're the next contestant. The next. Do I win any?
Did you hear her question?
No, I did not.
You want to repeat your question, Board Member Ventura?
Yes, we received two quotes for one of the vehicles. One is a hybrid, and then the other is the same vehicle that's not a hybrid. I obviously would like
There was a difference in the pricing.
There is a difference in the pricing. I'm also assuming there's a difference on the month that you'll get it, although no month is being
I
presented.
think that the hybrid would take longer, is my understanding of it. But again, we have to wait and see. There's, actually, all of these vehicles that we're talking about are sitting about 1,000 feet from my house. There's like 3,000 of them sitting in the open on a racetrack right now, waiting for that chip to come in.
So my understanding though is we have to vote to approve the purchase and then send everything back to finance, but I will not be voting yes on a vehicle that's not a hybrid. So do you know which one you're asking for
I
today?
asked for the regular vehicle in the beginning, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion to amend and a seconded, so Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mueller.
Yes.
We all good with what we're going on here?
Yeah, we're voting on Mike's amendment.
Can you repeat it?
Mike, would you like to repeat your amendment?
Do you know?
Amending the resolution to say that the agencies can go forward to order the vehicles, but we'll be sending back to finance discussion on how they'll be funded, since it will be a next year's budget.
Thank you.
I mean, yes.
Thank you.
Furlong.
Yes.
Newquist.
Yes.
O'Gala.
Yes.
Mustis.
Yes.
Mitchell. Yes. Danberg.
Yes.
Trainier.
Yes.
Fritz. Yes. Gould.
Yes.
Van Dyne.
Yes.
Balich.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Parker. Yes. Ventura.
No.
Holman.
Yes.
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Pretzel.
Yes.
Weigel.
Yes.
Freeman.
Yes.
Prolius.
Yes.
Cowan.
Yes. 21 affirmative, 1 negative.
21 affirmative, the motion carries. So I now need a motion to approve the resolution as amended.
So moved.
County Board Member Bridgelone, seconded by Mustis. Previous roll.
Mueller.
Previous roll Mueller, seconded by Coleman. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the motion carries.
Thank you very much. Our next executive committee meeting is scheduled for May 5th, 2022 at 10 a.m. I would like to make a motion to accept the appointments by the county executive.
Second.
Previous roll.
Motion by Cowen, seconded by O'Gala. Previous roll call by Bridgelone, seconded by, seconded by, Rachel, would you like to change it to approve or would you like to be no?
For the appointment, the yes.
Yes, okay. Seconded by Mitchell. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So motion carries. So at this time, we are going to, are there any public comments relevant to matters under the jurisdiction of the county? I have 2 speakers, they're very good. Josh, would you like to come up?
All set?
Yeah, we don't. You are up, sir.
Okay, all right. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for your time. I'll be brief. My name is Josh Wegger. I'm with the Indiana, Illinois, Iowa Foundation for Fair Contracting. We are a nonprofit joint labor management organization sponsored by Local 150 operating engineers and signatory contractors. For 23 years, we've had a 3-part mission. Number 1 is to increase work opportunities for skilled craftsmen. Number 2 is to expand market share for responsible contractors. And number 3 is to maximize value for taxpayers. I'm here to briefly address some reports we had received that there's some discussion in the county board about possibly amending, repealing the 4-penny county motor fuel tax. And it is our position that that would be irresponsible, short-sighted course of action. And I did provide an email with a fact sheet and a letter yesterday. Hopefully you all have received that. But according to the Illinois Economic Policy Institute, repealing the 4-cent county motor fuel tax would save the average driver about $2.20 a month. And that's if the gas station didn't just level the price and retain the additional pennies for profit. So $2.20 a month, but the repeal would also result in a loss of $95 million in available infrastructure revenue to the county over a 5-year period. Now, Will County is experiencing vigorous growth. We all know that. You all know that. I don't have to get into that. Population growth as well as employment growth. And so the county's roadways are already overloaded. This vigorous growth means that you're going to have extraordinary pressure on your infrastructure, extraordinary construction and maintenance needs going forward. So to reduce funding for infrastructure at this time, again, we feel would be deeply irresponsible. So gasoline is expensive right now. We know that. We're all experiencing that pain at the pump, but the price of a gallon of gas is determined by complex geopolitical and economic forces that unfortunately none of us have the ability to change. So in closing, I just want to address that issue. Thanks for your time. We would discourage any efforts to to repeal the county motor fuel tax. And again, we would urge you all to reject what we believe is that's a harmful idea for the future of the county. That's all I have to say. Thank you all.
Thank you. Is there anyone here for public comment? Okay, with that, we will move on to any announcements by the county board members. Just please hit your button if there is, and I will call you as you come in. County board member Parker.
I just want to say thank you to Speaker Cowen for all her efforts with the Ukrainian aid effort, Julie Berkowitz and Rachel Ventura, and anyone else who participated. 20 pallets were collected. They were all shipped to Poland. And I do have a letter here that I can't quite pull off that I'm going to email to everyone from the Ukrainian church, expressing their things, so I just wanted to say that publicly. Thank you.
Thank you. County board member Mitchell.
Hi. Just want to say a couple things. One is we received a very lovely letter from a gentleman whose mother was being cared for at Sunny Hill. All of our public health committee members. It's just a testament to how wonderful Sunny Hill is, and I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Sunny Hill and the staff and everybody. So that's one thing. Another thing is I kind of heard it and I had to write it up because I had to go all over the map. Three things. I want to apologize for my outburst against my fellow committee board member, Jackie, and to you, executive. So sorry about that. We get carried away. So. Okay, so here's my So the next thing that I wanted to mention was, I tried to avoid it. It was brought to me several times. And so I didn't really want to talk about it, but I guess I'm going to use this as a teachable moment, if you don't mind. So apparently, there's a Wheatland Township Democrat who has a Republican is racist event. And apparently this has been codified by, I guess, members of, some members here, and that because they're okay with going to Spanish, didn't say anything against us. So I hesitated to speak, and I'm just going to read my statement so that I can stay on track, yes. Okay, so I hesitated to speak on this issue because I'm in a very unique position of being both a racial minority and a racist, just by virtue of being a Republican, apparently. I am neither a poor soul to be protected by my betters, nor am I a totem to display whenever such an accusation arises. I'm speaking up because there's a bigger issue at stake here. I would like to say that I'm surprised, but unfortunately I can't say that because the political discourse in the last 2 decades have made the ignorant intolerant and the vitriolic into violent people. So when will it end? It ends when we as leaders stand up and say we will no longer participate in the demonization of people with whom we do not agree. This is not just a party versus party issue. This is an intra-party issue. This is an inter-family issue, interfaith issue. The failure is not in having an event at an offending venue or place where people have said some nasty things. The failure is in not having enough humanity to recognize intolerance for everyone is intolerable. So tolerance is even for things with whom or for people you do not agree. Let's try to practice it and let's be better. And that's all I'm going to say. Thank you.
Thank you. County Board Member Cowen. Good morning. I just wanted to speak on 2 things. I am in all county business. And what I mean by that is I live in District 10, but I work across the county. I grew up in District 8. I have significant friends and family in District 9. So when the proposal to move from commercial to residential for this rehab center was brought up, I immediately thought no, because the east side of Joliet is barren to many luxuries and privileges that I have where I currently live. And so, I think it's extremely important that we're addressing the opioid epidemic, and now it's become a public health issue, and it's not similar to a previous epidemic where it was more about police and prison. I'm still for helping people. So perhaps the expertise of the doctor can be used by our health department, who already has programs in place for the opioid crisis. And I just think that that's whenever we get to that vote, I'm not voting to change it to residential. If you think about where you live and where you would want to live, and I'm not discounting any human being that may have had some problems. I have family members who have had addiction issues, so on and so forth. What I'm saying is we have a whole health department, and we're talking about possibly 12 individuals, and it could be some type of collaboration there. So that would be my suggestion for that situation. And with that said, the demographics of opioid overdoses and addictions are middle-aged and higher. And we're ignoring where it may start, which is in your younger ages. So the health department had a program called the YES program, and it's tied into our possible ARPA funding, and this is one thing I think should be fast-tracked. The YES program for the health department was primarily in the Joliet schools. Now they're looking to expand through the county. It provides mental health experts, which creates jobs for others to come in and help students across the county, where students are now, high school students are facing a lot of different challenges. And it has nothing to do with, it has things to do with COVID. COVID just heightened. So I'm just asking that we pay more attention to proactive measures such as this program, fast tracking that through, getting funding. There was a wonderful executive meeting last week that displayed how we're going to possibly spend some of the dollars. So I think we should focus in on that area. And then finally, back to the property on Chicago Street, there was a proposal that it's a commercial property. There's some other individuals who own property that want to create jobs and businesses and companies that will be a positive impact in that area. I drive on 53 all the time. There are schools in that area. There's a community center in that area. It is very dangerous crossing over when you want to turn into the neighborhood. Thank you.
County Board Member Cottrell.
Thank you. I filled up my car with gas yesterday, and when I pulled up to the pump, I saw the car before me had put in $5 worth of gas, and I looked down, and it was just under 1.2 gallons of gas, maybe enough for them to get to work and back. The County Board approved Resolution 19-359 on December 19, 2019, that imposed a tax as defined in the motor fuel tax law on all persons in Will County engaged in the business of selling motor fuel at retail for the operation of motor vehicles on public highways or for the operation of recreational watercraft on waterways, etc., at 4 cents per gallon. Gas was in the tubes then, and it's in the mid-4s now. Occasionally goes up to close to $5 per gallon. This has a negative impact on the lowest income residents of Will County, on small businesses in Will County, and it affects them the greatest. I think it's sad that the resolution that I put forth won't even be assigned to a committee so we can have an open discussion about it. I get it, we're not all going to agree on this. It passed back in 2019, and obviously there's enough support for it to pass then. Maybe a resolution wouldn't go anywhere, but I do think it should be assigned to a committee so we can have it on an agenda and discuss it. I think this is sad. I mean, the cost of living right now is on everybody's mind. The cost of gas is impacting our lowest income residents the most. And I really encourage you all to speak up to leadership so that we can get this assigned to some sort of an agenda, at least so we can have a discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. County Board Member Ventura.
Yes, hi. For the zoning project that was discussed, this is for housing. This is not just for addiction services. Our health department does not provide housing for individuals to transition back into a full society. These halfway houses are crucial for them to get the needs that need to be met in order for them to move away from their addiction and back into working society. So I would just encourage every member to have a discussion with Kathleen Burke about the needs of housing in our county, especially when it comes to substance and behavioral use. We have some time before the next vote, so I would just encourage that everyone speak with her. As for the energy contract vote, this was not about where we get our electrons. We mostly receive them from the nuclear plants. We know this, we've talked about this in other meetings. This vote was about investing our taxpayer dollars in encouraging green energy, which is renewable as opposed to fossil fuel industry. Yes, the nuclear plants are included in the fossil fuel brown energy category, but the false rhetoric of jobs in Braidwood would be lost is just an excuse to keep investing in the fossil fuel industry. Again, this is not about where the energy comes from. This is not about jobs. This is not about Braidwood. This is about the financial future investments in our planet, in our children, and transitioning those living wage jobs to green jobs of the future, which also pay a prevailing wage. I would hope that the climate crisis would be a priority for all of us. It is a priority for my family and my constituents, and I ask that you consider your role in protecting our planet and future. Thank you.
Thank you. County Board, Ventura, do you have any comments?
I do. Thank you. I'm glad to see everyone's here today and fired up and ready to go. I'm glad that we all care enough to show up to do this job, so thank you for that. I wanted to point out to everyone that Ramadan, Passover, and Easter are all falling in the same days this year. This only happens every 3 decades, according to what I've read. So I think that this is a really unique opportunity in our time that all of us who are living in this spiritual space in our own faiths right now, this is a great opportunity that we could maybe learn a little from the other faiths that are also celebrating in spiritual spaces right now. So I really hope that whether it's, just learning a little something you read on the internet about the other faith, visiting, whatnot, I really hope that folks will take this opportunity to reach out and learn from folks who are also in spiritual spaces celebrating right now. I also wanted to point out the Nature Foundation's online plant sale, Bringing Nature Home, is still online until May 8th. So feel free to check out the Nature Foundation's website for more information. And then lastly, I just wanted to take a minute to thank everyone for their support this last month. My family has gone through some significant losses in my extended family, and it has really taken me out of the office a lot this last week. So I appreciate everyone's patience and support through that. Thanks so much.
Mr. Malone, anything to add?
Couple quick comments. As always, want to thank Mike Cox for all our hard work and the full county board. And along those lines, I want another shout out to National County Government Month. We all know here that county government is where the rubber meets the road. We see that when we attend NACO or read about things that are happening at NACO. Really, county government is what runs this country. So another shout out to them. And this comment's a little self-serving. This Saturday, the 23rd, is National Take a Chance Day and National Lovers Day. 45 years ago this Saturday, my wife took a chance. We got married. Lucky lady that she is. As am I, so I thought at least once in my term of 10 years here, I'd mention my wife Barb. Since I'm 45.
Speaker Cowen. Oops, sorry, I put it up there. Thank you. First of all, I wanted to make sure that I think all of our board members are aware now, but just make sure that other staff members are aware. We have a full county board staff once again, and I am thrilled, and I am sure that Nick and Beth and Sandy are even more thrilled than I am. Now almost 2 weeks ago, we welcomed Pam, who is our new administrative assistant, and a week or two before that, we welcomed Marcy, who's going to be on our finance team, and Cassandra, who's doing communication. So if you haven't met them, Cassandra was the one taking pictures. But say hi. We're really happy to have them, and like I said, no people are more happy, I am sure, than Nick and Beth and Sandy to have a full staff working again. So we're really happy to have them on. I am on my mission to remind everyone, if you get county health insurance, don't get the surcharge, get the extra $200, get your points, get your biometric screening. I got mine, I only got 1 point. I have some work to do, but, and I fought for that 1 point, so all good. So I did also want to take a moment to address what Member Mitchell brought up. And I agree that this is a teachable moment, and one of the lessons for me is to not believe everything you see on social media. And if you see something about one of your colleagues on social media, maybe ask them about it before you share or make public comments about it. I want to be very clear about what that post said, and it's a political thing, but I think I want to address it in this forum for a variety of reasons. An account called Indivisible Naperville posted something that said, "Hope you can join us for our All Republicans Are Racist event. Contact me to sign up if you have any questions." And it gave my personal cell phone number. There are a few things I want you to know about this post. First and foremost, neither I nor the Wheatland Township Democrats are hosting or involved with any event called All Republicans Are Racist. I would not be. I have not said that, and I would not say it. I do not believe all Republicans are racist. I want to say that again clearly so everyone hears me. I do not believe all Republicans are racist. If that's true, you may be wondering why Indivisible Naperville would have posted that. The reality is that whomever is posting under the name Indivisible Neighborville is not, in fact, in any way affiliated with the actual group Indivisible Neighborville. The leaders and members of that group have been trying for months to determine who runs that Instagram account. They have failed to do so. They have tried to get the account shut down. That has also failed. They have now started legal action to get the account shut down. One of the co-chairs of Indivisible Neighborville was here earlier today. She had to leave to speak about that, but they are issuing their own press release. This is not the first time this account has sought to create divisiveness or sow seeds of chaos and hostility. It is the first time the account has posted someone's private information on a post. For that reason, we were able to get the post taken down. It violated Instagram's community standards by posting my cell phone number. It's pretty clear that the posting of my personal cell phone number was intended to encourage offended readers to harass me directly. While the post was removed by Instagram for violating their community standards, it was first screenshotted and shared by a number of people. Some of those posts remain active on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. To those of you in this room who saw this post and called me to talk about it before sharing it, I appreciate you doing that. It really means a lot to me. I appreciate being given the chance to address you about this. It's my opinion that this post was intended to do damage not just to me and to the Indivisible Neighborville, but also to this board. I work on an almost daily basis with Mike Frizzlone, and I gotta tell you, and some of my friends are not gonna like this, I like this guy. I know it's trite to say, but Mike and I agree about more things than we disagree about. Make no mistake, sometimes we, strongly disagree about things. But I actually think Mike and I work together really well. I would never in a million years say that Mike Frizzlone was a racist because I don't believe he is. But if Mike saw this post and believed it, you bet that would damage our working relationship. How could it not? And that's what I think the real intent of this post was. Not necessarily to make Mike in particular hate me, but to make all of you upset with me, to make all of us upset with each other. And that's what really pisses me off. We have a lot of great things going on in this county. We have a chance to allocate $134 million. We're building a renewable natural gas plant that will provide revenue for decades to come to our county. We have one of the most celebrated and rewarded forest reserves in the state, and we have a fabulous bond rating because years of Republicans and Democrats working together to make sensible fiscal decisions. Whoever runs this Instagram account and decided to attribute those words to me and post my personal cell phone on social media certainly has it out for me. And that's sad and frustrating, and believe me, I've wasted a lot of time in the last few days dealing with this. I normally wouldn't discuss political matters at a board meeting, but I know this impacts how we relate to each other and work together. So I wanted to make sure my fellow board members heard me today. I do not think all Republicans are racist. I have disagreed with probably every elected official in this room, and plenty that aren't in this room, at one point or another, and it doesn't have a lot to do with party. I've argued with Jim, I've argued with Rachel, everyone loves it when I argue with the executive. But I actually believe in every single one of you as well. I believe that Jim and Rachel and the executive and Gretchen and Meta and Julie, all of you, I believe that everyone here wants to focus on the work of running county government and making it as efficient and prosperous for our residents as possible. We sometimes have really different ideas about how the best way to do that. But I'm not going to let some internet troll who won't even own their own lies to keep me from working with each and every one of you. If you have questions about my beliefs, call me, ask me. If what I've said is unclear in any way, I'll be happy to repeat it again. I'm sorry there are people out there willing to spread lies about us just because we're elected officials. It truly is unfortunate for each and every one of us.
Thank you, Mimi. We have no executive session today. I do want to make a quick announcement that Denise Milo is back there, the HR director, if you would like to go and say hello after. But this time, I need a motion to recess.
Motion, Trinier.
Motion by Trinier, seconded by Frizzlone. All in favor? Aye. We are now recessed until May 19, 2020. Hey. Good luck.